Now hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, it's time for another flight simulator review. Yes, we haven't done that in a while. Now today we're not on the PC, but we're actually using our phone again. Yes, we're reviewing the new update of Infinite Flight today. Yeah, Infinite Flight, for those of you who don't know for some reason, is the leading flight simulator out there for mobile, for phones, and it makes sense. It is probably one of the best ones out there, or at least it claims to be on the App Store. Let's find that out today. Now, Infinite Flight, they came up with a new update very recently. They updated some of their aircraft. For example, they have the new 777-200ER, which has now live cockpit and live instruments, which is very good. They have also updated the 737s. They have a new cockpit now. Something else that they have improved is their navigation system, but more on that later. Now, let's start with the basics. Infinite Flight is relatively cheap to obtain, compared to other flight simulators. The core app of Infinite Flight will cost you around $5, and the actual app takes away only 80 megabytes, which is really not much. Which is probably one of the reasons why this flight simulator has so many downloads. Now, Infinite Flight's probably best feature is its multiplayer. It has a very, very good multiplayer. All the aircraft, they are very smooth, all the movements. You can do some formation flying with your friends or something. That works really, really well, actually. So that is that. Now, the aircraft selection is, well, pretty big, and it's getting bigger and bigger every year, basically. We have a lot of Airbuses, a lot of Boeings. We definitely have more aircraft than any other flight simulator could give you if we pretend that FSX isn't existent, right? Now, you know what? Let's actually spawn in with our newly updated 777. Let's just do that. Now, another cool thing about this one is that you can fly globally. Yes, every airport in the world is most probably in the sim, which is pretty good. Yeah, that's like genuinely amazing. Let's just spawn in somewhere random. Let's just go for London Heathrow. Oh wow, something they have improved is actually the map here. You can take any spawn location you want. You can spawn on the gate. You can also spawn on a runway and even spawn in on the approach, so you can just do the landing if you want to. Yeah, that is actually pretty nice. Now, let's go ahead and spawn in. The loading times are acceptably fast. I mean, it depends on your internet connection, but this was pretty good. Now we are spawned into the 777-200ER, which is not the biggest 777. I honestly like the 300ER a little bit more. It's a little longer. Also, Swiss uses it, but whatever. This is pretty cool, I guess. Now, what we have here in Infinite Flight is obviously some satellite scenery. It isn't at a very high resolution. At least on the ground, it doesn't really look that good. When you're at around 30,000 feet, it looks a little better. But, other mobile flight simulators like X-Plane 10 have a little bit of a better scenery on the ground. It just looks a little better. Also, there are no such thing as any 3D objects, pretty much. You have no airport buildings, no trees, no other buildings, basically. Now, that might be a little obvious when you think about that, an iPhone or something doesn't have the power of a PC, which could be able to render these things. I don't know if something like an iPhone would actually be able to do that. But the highlight of this update here in the 777 is probably the cockpit. All the instruments, they actually work and they show stuff, which is pretty cool, right? Yeah, no, they actually have improved a lot of things here. Also, there's a little changes like APU. So it's not really a thing of just pressing one key to start the engine, which used to be the case here with this flight simulator. It's a little different now. You have to start the battery and then the APU. That will give enough power to start the engines, so that's a little better. Now, you know what? Let's actually go ahead and take off. Something else that is new about this plane is the sounds. They actually added custom sounds to the 777. I mean, that's nothing special, really. But all the other aircraft in this simulator used to sound the same. The sound design really wasn't perfect. But now the 777, it sounds quite nice. Pretty good. Now about the handling and how the plane flies. It is obviously a little weird to control a plane with your iPhone, right? With the tilting and stuff. That can seem a little strange. So my landings today will be messed up. I haven't used my phone for flight simulating in a while now. Now the physics engine in this flight simulator, this plane feels alright. I have flown the 777-200 in the flight simulator before in an actual one. Yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit very responsive. Also, the engines seem a little overpowered. Oh my god, Jesus, this is like a fighter jet. But I mean, it's, it's fine. That is acceptable enough, I guess. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the plane. Now let's actually try to perform some kind of landing in this 777-200ER. Another new change about this aircraft is actually the gear design, because in real life the 777 gear is actually tilted, and here it is now too, as you can see. As you can see, we have tilted landing gear, which is pretty amazing. Now you might ask if that even makes any difference at all. It doesn't, but the landings look more epic, I would say. Yeah, let's try landing this plane now at least some kind of smoothly, right? So something that I'm immediately noticing is that it's pretty hard to read the instruments here with the naked eye. I mean, actually, I do have pretty good eyesight, and I have a pretty large phone as well, so I don't want to imagine how it's like to fly in this flight simulator with something like the iPhone SE2 or something that is like genuinely not a big phone. Now let's get this plane landed, I guess. Again, I'm not very skilled at landing a plane with my phone. Alright, I think I nailed it. That was pretty good. That felt pretty smooth. I didn't even feel the landing, honestly. And we have already stopped. That is perfectly fine. Now, the 737 got a similar treatment, at least to the cockpit. This is also a live cockpit now, which looks pretty good, especially compared to the old one. Now, this is actually pretty nice, but it's not really as exciting as another feature that this flight simulator added. And it's actually procedures. Now, right now, we got some info about London Heathrow. As you can see right here, we have this procedure button, and here we can select some kind of departure that we want, and here it is. Here we got all the IFR departure procedures that are available for London Heathrow, and let me just tell you, at an airport as big as that one, there are a lot of them, and that's pretty interesting. Now, honestly, I wouldn't use them because I mostly fly VFR, but I think this could actually be a nice flight simulator for training IFR, right? Because now you got all these features. They made the navigation of this flight simulator in general a lot better. As you can see right here, we have the ocean routes of the Atlantic. That is pretty nice for transatlantic flights. Really, this is pretty cool, actually. Now, let's use our option to fly all around the world, pretty much. Let's try some interesting airports. Maybe let's go for St. Helena. Are there any procedures for this one available? Oh, there are. That is pretty cool. Wow. I mean, I'm not IFR rated, so I have no idea how to use them, but it's pretty cool that they're there, right? All right, now let's get the 737 landed at St. Helena. Actually, the scenery down here, it isn't very good, but honestly, it's not that bad either, is it? 1,000. It's, I guess it's usable.
20. 10.
Alright, that sucks for recording. I do genuinely hate recording on my phone because, you know, whenever notifications pop up, I have to actually edit them out later on. That is probably the thing that I hate most about using mobile flight simulators. Yeah, what can we say? Infinite Flight. It's improved a little bit, obviously. It's lacking a little bit of features still, you know. I mean, not only cosmetically, you know, the scenery doesn't look good at all. And there's no 3D buildings. Again, no roads, no anything. No trees even. That is what I kind of miss about this one. Oh, I think we're actually falling off the cliff now here. So that is not necessarily perfect. And while the developers of this flight simulator are adding new planes every 6 months or so, I think they're kind of missing out on adding new features to this one. You know, there's a lot of things missing that have to be added. And you know, as phones get more and more powerful, I think they're able to run a little bit of a more realistic flight simulator, honestly. Also, have I mentioned that there's a lack of particles? Like, there's none. You know, there's no clouds, no anything, pretty much. That could also be added. There's no rain either. So, yeah, what's the use of IFR procedures anyway, right? Now, yeah, guys, what do you think about Infinite Flight? I think it's one of those apps that you just have to have on your phone because, you know, it doesn't really take away a lot of space and money, right? So that could be a nice addition to your home screen. I barely use this flight simulator, though, simply because I use the PC once. The multiplayer of this one is definitely its biggest strength. So flying around with your friends is probably the best part. But yeah, it's decent enough, and it's improving. So yeah, guys, thank you for watching today's video, and I'll see you tomorrow. As always, good night. Alright, so I gotta get this video to 10 minutes. So here's some extra facts. Did you know that only 5% of the world's population have ever been on an airplane? That's very interesting, actually. Also, more than 80% of the population on this planet is afraid of flying. Noobs.